I'm not talking into my microphone. I am not talking into my microphone. I was going to say I can't fake it. I am pissed off at EG. Why? Why? If you don't know what I'm talking about, find out. Find out. Find out how Idra plays in a tournament and leaves a game he's winning. It breaks my heart. I was rooting for him, and I think he would have won the tournament if he hadn't done that, basically. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. What else is going on right now? Day 9 is kind of be back from MLG. Hopefully he'll have some more dailies very soon. I'm looking forward to Artosis and Tasteless coming back to the GOM TV network because I've been watching Wolfman cast the tournament there, the Super Tournament. And it'll be nice to have Artosis and Tasteless back, I got to admit. So what else is going on? In my world, last Pylonathon, I sucked the crap out of StarCraft 2. Let me tell you how my games have, how my StarCraft 2 has gone. When I first got it, I spent hours every day perfecting a build on maps with AI opponents, but I never got into to actually playing games because there were just too many maps for me. And so then I said, fuck this, I need to play games right now. Otherwise, I'm never going to play games on the ladder. So I just went into 4-gate mode. I played a lot of 4-gates, and yeah, that was kind of what I did. Or just early expansions. And I won against people who didn't know that if you early expanded, you're ahead if you don't do anything to stop it. So then I lost against people who were like, I can stop this easy. And they did. So I lost those games. So now I've gotten to the point where I played too many 4-gates. I played too many. I do have a good arsenal for a 4-gate against each race. I can do a 4-gate if I want. You know, if I'm like, a quick game, let's do it. But now I need to get to the point where, well, my skill won't actually increase, I believe, unless I actually get really into the strategy and executing long-term builds. So, Galaxy, am going to, guess what? Analyze every single map. Oh no, it's so boring. It is boring, but it's kind of fun to think and be creative. And if you can think before, you can get an edge on your opponent. Yay! So there are 10 maps. Actually, I know this because this is actually post what you're about to see. So I know that there are 10 maps because I had to choose 7 of them, and I have. And we're going to go into Battle.net together. We're going to find out how many maps there are to play in multiplayer in 1v1, and we're going to find out I'm going to choose which ones to leave out. You can choose 3 to take off. And then I'm going to download every map and analyze them according to this. Where did I get this info? Well, let's just see. Expansions. Where are the expansions? Space. Where is it wide? Where is it constrictive? Cliffs. Where are the cliffs? Easy. Airspace. How easy is it your opponent to do drops? Towers. Where are the Zelnaga towers? Basically, how am I going to defend my bases? Gold. Is there a gold? Does that play into the strategy? Distance to enemy base. That's pretty self-explanatory. Space in main base. You know, that's good to know, because if you have very small space, you may have to build your, your tech structures and all kinds of more gateways after like 3 or 4, somewhere else. And miscellaneous. Some maps have weird things like Zelnaga Caverns is a very open space in the middle. That's just unique to that map, so that's miscellaneous. And so after I analyze every map that I'm going to let myself play on in 1v1, I'm going to think of a strategy that I can execute according to my style, or what I'm thinking about, what I want to do in that matchup on every map. And it's going to be sort of a similar theme, but just change it around for every map against each race. And I'm not going to refine it. I'm just going to then go into playing with that in mind, saying, I don't know when I should build my gateway or my gas, but I'm going to try it here. Make notes and just refine as I play, because that's just how I'm going to do it. And it's going to take a while for us to get there, but it's going to be good when we do, because I know this map. I need to know where I take my third, and I know how to defend it. You know what I mean? So that pre-planning is what a professional does. Before you go into a tournament, you get your map pool, you analyze those maps, you concoct strategies against each possible race, and then you're good to go. And then you memorize it and stuff. But we're not going to really refine it. The refining is just going to happen over time as I win and lose games. And I just got this itch here. So yeah, that's my plan, because I want to behave like a professional and make the most of this game, this strategy game. It's strategy, so you've got to pre-plan some things. You've got to strategize beforehand so that you know more than your opponent does. The advantage is, again, I'll know more than they do. Even if my mechanics aren't as good, I'll know the map well, and my build will be specifically for that map. And every map will have a different build order, even if you have the same general theme. For example, if you are going into 2-gate robo into 3 or 4 gateways, 2 robos, and then, and basically your end game army is lots of colossi and gateway units with upgrades, you're going to do it differently on every map. For example, on Xel'Naga Caverns, the natural is hard to get at first, so you may not want to early expand. But on Tal'Darim Altar, huge map. You're going to want to get that natural right away and take advantage of the fact that it's a huge map. And then, so it's like, it's going to look different on every map. It has to. And that's just what the next few Pylonathons are going to be. And I really just want to dig into this, and going this direction, again, I think that I hit a certain level, like, well, I can keep doing 4 gates, but it became very apparent to me. Like, my opponents were telling me, you know what, you should do more than just all-ins. I'm like, you're so right, I agree with that. They're like, you're good, but you should stop doing that. I'm like, how do you know that? Well, I don't know. It's just this feeling I've been getting. So, yeah, I'm going to move forward with this game in a different way, not just do 4 gates. Again, those 4 gates were just there to get me into the game and get used to playing some games. And now that I'm used to it, I'm still scared, but not quite as scared to lose. I got really angry last Pylonathon. Oh, so angry. Go check that out. Pylonathon number 2. I get furious because I screw up so bad. And, yeah, itching myself because I'm a monkey. And enjoy this Pylonathon. We're going to go into BattleNet. Okay, here we are in the BattleNet, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maps to choose from. Okay, so we're going to cut out 3 maps in order to make life a little bit easier. I wish that you could actually cut out half of them. But as it is, we're going to just pretend that we're in a tournament, preparing for a tournament. And when you do that, you have to study the maps and your opponent. We don't have the luxury of studying our opponents, but we can definitely study these maps to come up with strats. And unfortunately, we're going to have 7 maps and 3 different races on each map. So that's 21 different strategies. Holy crap, that's a lot. That is a lot to prepare for, but whatever. Let's just go in and let's cross out 3 maps. I already know I don't... actually, that's not true. Let's just look. Scrap Station. Yep, kind of a long rush distance. Potential for a hidden base. Yeah, I don't think I really like Scrap Station. Xel'Naga Caverns. I like Xel'Naga Caverns because it does remain kind of a smaller map. And I can see, I think that it has one of my favorite maps. I suppose Backwater Gulch. I never liked this map. I just don't like the colors. It reminds me too much of Desert Oasis. So now we have Delta Quadrant, Metalopolis. Now, I'm kind of sick of Metalopolis. I've been watching Metalopolis games for a year. Back in the beta, Metalopolis was huge. So that leaves us with Xel'Naga Caverns, Delta Quadrant, Sakura's Plateau, Slag Pits, Tal'Darim Altar, Shadow Temple, and Typhon Peaks. I think this is a good mixture of smaller maps, large maps, and only 1 2-player map, so that's kind of cool, kind of interesting to note. And so yeah, now I'm going to go to the next part of this. I was about to say daily, but it's Pylonathon. It's not really a daily, is it? Nope, because it doesn't happen every day. Okay, let's go on. Here we are on my desktop, place that we love to be because it's safe to be on the desktop. It's much safer than, you know, actually playing, right? And but I'm confident that after I go through this process, I'm actually going to play quite a bit. And I think I explained all that pretty well in the intro. I'm just waiting for this to print, and then we're going to just go through the laundry list of different aspects of a map and just write them down and observe them, and then think about each race and how it would affect each race. So here we have Zalnaga Caverns. Have a nice, lovely printout, which unfortunately you can't see, but I will just use this as kind of a thing, pointing my mouse to see, yeah, what is where. So let us divine. Okay, I've got everything in order now, kind of organized. I'm looking at the map on the screen, and I'm going to write down some of my observations. And I'm just going to assume that I've never played this map before. And, you know, like I know that, you know, about John's Common Knowledge Hallway and stuff. And I've seen so many games played on this map that I kind of have a general idea of what strategies might be good. I know that, like for an example, I already know that the natural is very difficult. Look, there are 1, 2, 3. See, 1, 2, 3. Follow my mouse pointer. Entrances, even 4 if these rocks are open up into my natural. So it's very, very hard to defend your natural against Zerg. So that's always true. And if you're Zerg, it could be hard to defend, you know, against Hellions and stuff like that. So let's see here. Let's think about the expansions. So the main, let's look at the main. Okay, that is, let's look at the bottom left. Okay, the natural, as we said, is very open. So the natural is very open. Okay, and we're not coming up with any strategies yet, just making just general observations. We're going to be as general as possible. Okay, the third is, I don't think this up here would be a good third, because usually you want to have a third that's in your attack paths, because if you have to defend this leaves your natural wide open. So I may even like consider constricting space by building pylons and buildings here. But anyway, that's just a little tactic that we don't have to worry about just yet. Let's see. So third, you could the gold, or basically the third is interesting because you have two options for a third. The natural, the third down here might be more vulnerable towards tanks. You know, you could put some tanks down here. So we could see that there's, let's just look at attack paths into the third. Pretty much one. There's only one attack path into this third here. Of course, there is this harassment hallway. We're not going to worry about that just yet. So for a third, you have third A, which is the non-gold. And one attack path. That's good to know. Third B is the gold. It has rocks. The negatives are it has rocks. There are actually two attack paths, one here and one here and here. So actually kind of two and a half, because here and here are kind of the same. But if you control these Zelnaga towers, it'd be easier. Anyway, the point is it has two attack paths. Two attack paths. So it's more vulnerable than this one, actually. But it's a gold. So I'm just writing this down, and we're not making any conclusions yet, because against each race, it's going to be these aspects are going to have positives and negatives. I mean, it's going to be different for each race. Okay, so that's good. Now for a fourth and fifth base, you could take, yeah, for a fourth base, you can probably, it makes sense to take, you know, if you take the gold for a third, obviously you want to take for a fourth base the one down here. And if you but we won't worry about that so much. Day 9 says that the biggest thing in StarCraft, the biggest strategy, the biggest thing that you want to know in your build is how you're going to take a third. And so we won't really think about fourth and fifth base. I mean, I guess if we attack this, if we're attacking up this way, towards our opponent's third, we can go up this way and this way. So if we go up this way, we can defend this area here. If we go up this way, we can't really defend in this area here because you see, look at my arrow here, blah, blah, blah. Over to the left, there's this open area which kind of defends this from here. So it would defend this base. So actually, I would say a fifth base. Let's write a fifth base would be on the left side here, not this side here, because it's much harder to defend this. Like, if you go up this way, this does not defend this or anything. Like, you know what I mean? It would make sense the fifth base to be basically across from the natural. So either here if you spawn here, or here if you spawn here. So let's say fifth base equals across from natural. That could also be a hidden base. That could be a good hidden base too. Okay, cool. Next on our little list, space. Where is it wide and where is it constricted? Okay, well, let's look around here. Let's see if the name caverns is actually indicative of the map itself. Let's look from here. So we have a very wide open, I would say there's actually a lot of space in the natural, in the main. And then we have a nice tight ramp here. And ooh, looks at the natural, we have 1, 2, 3 constricted spaces. There's this hallway here. Very constrictive. I'm looking around my arrow. Everything, here's the most wide open space. It's just kind of this nook here. That's kind of interesting. Wow. Wow, that would be good for Colossus right there. I'm thinking this is not a good Colossus map versus Terran. Because of all the... Oh, no, actually, this is kind of a big space here. Yeah, that's true. No, I'm not... It could be wrong, but these are just some ideas. It could be right or wrong. Yeah, it's very constrictive space everywhere, so it is kind of like little caverns. So here and here are pretty much like the widest spaces, and here even, and here. So wow, that's so let's write that down. So where is it wide and where is it constricted? I'm just gonna put constrictive everywhere, and there are really no open spaces. Just very few open spaces. Okay. I'd say there'd be open spaces around the latitude. Let's see, longitude. Yeah, the latitude of the no, the longitude of the third base. So yeah, open around longitude of third. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Cliffs. Where are the cliffs? Well, there's a cliff on the main. Let's write this down. Cliffs. There are cliffs around the main. Oh, you know what? But it's a lot of space in the main, so I'm thinking you're not really vulnerable to tanks here. Or colossi hanging out around here. So let's say cliffs on the main. There are cliffs here and here. So basically cliffs around the third. Getting an expansion is hard on this map because of the open space here and the cliffs on the third. A lot of possibilities for being harassed. So this might be a map where you kind of do a standard safer build rather than a riskier like 1 gate expand or something. Okay, so cliffs equals the main at third. At third, okay. Oh, look, yeah, at third. And then these are some little cliffs here too. In the middle. It's like blink stalkers could go up here and colossi could hang out up there. One crazy strategy I just thought of is you could get like early colossi, 1 base colossi, and as the Terran moves out, you have a couple colossi up here because before they have medevacs, but that would be hard to predict exactly where they go. They could go this way, this way. Just kind of a crazy idea. Oh, okay, and at the 5th base too. We're going to call this the 5th base. There are cliffs at the 5th. Okay. And I'm going to count this open hole in the middle as a cliff too. I'm going to, because there's no other real other thing I could use to describe it. It's not a cliff, it's a kind of a gap which separates these things. So that can actually, I think we need a miscellaneous section. Miscellaneous. Okay, that'll be last. Okay. Airspace, airspace. So it looks like at the natural, very small airspace. Look at there. It looks like there's not really a lot of room to hide your air units. On some maps, like Delta Quadrant, there's plentiful room. Like if we do a drop here, down to here, if there's a pylon here, it can easily be seen, So I'm going to just write airspace is constrictive. All the space in this map seems to be constrictive, except at the 3rd. Let's look at the 3rd. Look at that. You can do a lot of good harassment, air harassment at the 3rd. So like that would be very vulnerable to banshees and stuff. Or drops. That'd be good to do some drops right here at the 3rd. So I'm gonna constrictive, except at 3rd. I mean, kind of a normal amount. Like you can definitely come here and do some drops like here. But I'd say it's kind of easily spotted. It's just kind of normal. It's nothing like the natural, like there's just no space there. Like if you have a pylon here, you'll see anything that goes through. Okay, cool. Towers. So that means Zelnaga towers. There are 2 in the middle. So I'd say the most important ones to hold are the one closest to you. And when you're on your 3rd base, I'd say the one that's closest to your 3rd. Because when you have your natural, you want to protect. This Zelnaga tower has vision of 1 entrance. Basically, about all 3 entrances is probably about like that. So if you've got your army here, 3, 1, these 2 paths. Yeah, so the Zelnaga towers you want to hold are this one. And then when you have this base, you want to protect this area. And you want to also protect this area from being flanked. So I'd say this tower here. Now if you give up this tower, really your units are going to be here. So if you got this tower and this, I think you're okay. So let's write that down. So Zelnaga towers. So just towers. The one closest to the base is the best. And so when you have a natural, the closest to your base and your main is going to be this one. When you have your 3rd, it's going to be pretty much this one. Now if this is your 3rd, I'd say it's imperative to hold this tower, because if you're blind to here, this attack path, unless your units are here. Yeah, I'd say that, if your units are here and you hold this, then that's enough time for you to kind of move up and protect your natural. So, because you'll see them. Oh, look, there's even a little line there. Yeah, you'll see them come in here. So, I'll write closest to base is the one you want. But when you get gold, farthest from main. Okay, cool. Gold. Yes, there's a goal. Yes, there's a gold base, and we already know the positives and negatives of. It's kind of a little bit riskier, and I think it depends on the matchup, on whether or not it's actually worth the risk. Distance to enemy base is, well, it's not that long. I happen to know it's about 45 seconds. Distance is, we'll just call it medium. It's not like Tall Dream Altar. Space in main base. Main space equals a lot is good. good amount of space. It's not like you know, the map. I don't know. There's some other maps where you get like about this much space. So yeah, cool. And miscellaneous. Oh yeah, gap in middle. Miscellaneous. Big gap in middle. Good. So that we've just analyzed this map. I know that my natural is going to be hard to take at first because it'll be very vulnerable to all kinds of harassments. My third is going to be, this is the most vulnerable spot. My fifth is going to be this spot. And the Zalnanga Tower I want to always hold is this one here, and this one if I decide to get the gold. I know that's very constrictive hallways, so High Templar, Lena with Storm would probably be good against Terran, or really any race, I guess. I'm not sure if it's good against Protoss, but yeah. And then I also know that air distance is constrictive, like a pylon here and a pylon here. Basically, I can see any drops in a pylon. Make sure I put a pylon here, and you know, like a pylon here. I can just put pylons all around the perimeter and see drops, no problemo. So we've just analyzed our first map. We're back on digital stream, playing Zerclair now. Go in control. You're in control. Now we're on Shattered Temple. Why is it called that? So Shattered Temple. Okay, let's go through this list again. And the payoff to all this stuff, so I can get to see me utilize the strategy. Let's look for natural. Like natural. One. That's right. Unlike the one cavern. One attack. Yeah, space, where is it wide? So wide around the natural. This is very wide. It's also wide open in the middle. Wide open in the middle. Okay, it's wide. So basically this is a much more wide open map. It's a little bit constrictive. Basically around the gold, like here, and here, and here, like here. Basically around well, yeah, that's actually kind of wide too. It's pretty much wide everywhere. So it's not really constrictive anywhere. This is a very, very wide open map. That's very good to know. It's kind of constrictive around here, but it's a ramp. I'm just looking. Everything is pretty wide open. It's basically constrictive, we'll say, around the ledges, because these are ledges in the middle. Overall, I'd say this is a wide open map. Very different from Zalnanga Caverns. Okay, space, okay, cliffs. So there are... if this was Lost Temple, there would be a cliff right here. But in this would be an island expansion. As it is, the cliffs are around the main. Cliffs are around the main. In the middle. And around the previous island expansion. Main in the middle and previous island expansions. Expands. Okay. Good to know where cliffs are. You can see the Colossi. Not too many cliffs. Colossi are good again for cliffs, but I feel like Colossi would be good on this map because their lasers, you know, you could get really good arcs. etc., etc. And okay, so airspace. All right, let's look at the airspace behind the natural. Behind each base, I'd say that very bad airspace, except for the gold here, because you can, if there's no base here, it's very good. But look at the main, like there's so little airspace. Like medevacs would die so easily if they went from here to here, and like stalkers like blink there. There's lots of airspace here though. I'm gonna say airspace is tight. Airspace is tight, except for gold. Except for gold first. But there is a place to hide your medevacs and stuff. So like you can come up here and just hide here, and Protoss can't do anything. It's very tight, except for gold, but places to hide. I mean, think about it. If my base is here, and you have medevacs here, the closest spotting pylon I could have is here. So that's really not good. I'd say that drops are likely. Yeah, drops are very likely. Unlike Zelnaga Caverns, where drops can be spotted like that, here there's a lot of space. Like, I can't build a pylon out in the middle of the ocean. Okay. Towers. One tower. That means that vision is going to be here. That means controlling the center tower is very important. Why? Because if I have control the center tower, I can easily defend. If they're here or here, I can easily defend my my natural and my third. So getting the center tower, I'd say that getting this tower is going to be most important once you get your third base. So I'm going to write that down. So towers, Zelnaga tower equals must secure to get to defend third base. I mean, think about it. The only way like an army could get around that is to go this way, but it would have to be very sneaky. Like even if it goes here and up, it's going to get spotted if I'm looking at the mini map. But if I put a pylon here, if they're here or here, I can see their army if they're coming after me. Okay. So it's very easy to defend. Easy to defend third. I'm just gonna write that to defend third. If you have the Zenlager tower, if you're unable to take it, then it's gonna be much harder to. You're gonna have to rely on observers and stuff. It's gonna be much harder. Now I would take this as a third if they already have map control or something. That's actually a good possibility. I don't know. I think only experience will tell me that. So, towers, gold. The gold is, yes, we do have a gold, and it's definitely the gold equals the best third to take in most situations. Okay, now if these were island expansions, I would say differently, because it's much easier to defend island expansions early game, I think. Well, that's arguable. I guess it depends on your army comp. Okay, distance to enemy base, I would say is long. Distance. Well, it's not long. I'd say it's medium long. Medium long, or short. Because if they spawn here, then it's going to be short distance. And I'll have to account for that in my build. Distance, okay, space in main base. Plenty of space in main base. The main equals much space. So what that means is that as Protoss, I'm gonna have to, build a perimeter of pylons. Indeed, like it'll take a lot of pylons to secure the main. I'll probably build here on this map. Like there's not much in the, I'd say, much space. Build all structures here. pretty much. All tech structures and everything. Because if you look at the natural, there's very little space here in the natural. And look at this gold third. There's no room for any buildings there. Just some cannons. Maybe over here there's room. So yeah, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I'd say lots of yeah, build pretty much all structures in the main. There's so much room in here. So much room. I really, want this well defended. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Space and main base. So miscellaneous. Miscellaneous. Oh yeah. Can they spawn? This is my question. Can they spawn close positions? Because some maps, like they can't. Like in the latest MLG and Metalopolis, it was impossible for your enemy to spawn in the closed position. So, and on Shakur's plateau, it's the same. So, I have to just look into that. So, it's good to know. Hey, we did another one. Another one down. What's up, what's up, what's up? Expansions. Okay, here we go. This is slag pits, I think. Yes, it is. Good. My memory serves me well. Slag pits. Okay, let's look at this. Expansions. How many attack paths are there? It looks like there's a huge, huge wide open attack path right here. That's big. That's even bigger than it's constrictive here. Basically, if my natural is here, I'm gonna have to defend this and this. Because if I'm just defending this, they can kind of go up the ramp. Like if they kill my army, they can go through. So, ooh, and then there's this. I'd say it's kind of hard to secure the natural. So I'm just going to say huge, and there are two. 1, 2, and then there's a huge space, and your natural's way behind. So really, you're kind of just defending here and here. So depending on the spawn positions, well, if they're spawn here, if they're spawn here, they're obviously going to come this way. It's not hard to decide where you're going to defend. But I'm just going to say, so on this map, expansion. So a natural equals 2. It's actually 3 attack paths because of the rocks. 3 attack paths, huge space. It would require lots of force fields to zone like an army, like a Terran or a Zerg army. Let's see. I'm thinking like a Zerg early expansion would be good because you already have your buildings zoning in space. So anyway, just throwing that out there. It's not as bad as the Naga Caverns because of the rocks. So one is rocks. So yeah, there's the rocks right in there. And here I'd say pretty easy. Like if your opponent is here or here, it's easy to predict. If your opponent is here, they can go either way. It'd be harder to predict. And like the Zelnaga Tower doesn't really, you have to have like a pylon on one side or the other to spot an attack. So I'd say it's actually not hard to defend. Because if you can predict it, if you can put a pylon here or here, if they spawn here, you can actually predict it. So huge space, and then, yeah. But easier. I'd say it's about medium to defend. Not as easy as Shadow Temple. Okay, I'll put medium difficulties to defend it. So now let's look at the third. Third is going to be... Oh my god. Does Blizzard not want you to have a third? If they're here... Yeah, I guess I could put a third here, but... Yeah, there's no choice but to take the gold. If they're here, the third would have to be here, and how are you supposed to defend that, motherfucker? I'll tell you how. There's a Zelnaga Tower in the middle. Do you see this third here? Let's say this is my third, and they're here or here. That means that I have to keep an eye out. Oh my god, this is so... Okay, third is going to be here if they're here. If they're here, if they're here or here, the third is going to be here. Oh, wow. Gosh, there's just too many possibilities. So here's my third. Yeah, if I'm here and they're here, all I have to do is defend this and the Zelnaga Tower. So but then they can go around. So the third is basically really hard to take. Third equals very hard to take. So this would be a good map where like a good two gate timing push would be. You know what I mean? Because if you can get an advantage there, then you can get up a third and it'd be easier and you kind of in the lead. So very hard to defend. All right, so I'm thinking, let's think. If they're here, I'm attacking them this way. So I might want my third to be at the gold. And then hold the Zenlaga tower also. And then constrict space here. Yeah, good, good, good. So if they're here or here, I would want my third at the gold. So, because if you're here, basically you're attacking this way. You can't put your third at their natural, obviously. I could put my third up here, but I think this is the least vulnerable spot. So if you're going to take a third, you must take the Zelnaga tower. So that means you really need map control. Zelnaga tower. Okay. Take gold as third. If adjacent. Okay, if adjacent positions. See, this is why you have to analyze a map and plan it out all in advance. You know what I mean? Executing your build is harder than analyzing. This is part I love and I can do. Executing it, not so much. Oh, but we love it anyway. So here we go. If they're cross map, if I took this as a third, they can. I'd be attacking them this way. That's very predictably, and that leaves this part open. If I take a third here, you know what? I like taking this as a third if they're cross map. You know why? Because it's if I have my third here, I'm defending here. I have to go all the way there to attack them. But if I go here, oh yeah, that's actually good because you're attacking a natural. But like from here to here, it's actually farther away. Like if I have my third here and my fourth here, and then my fifth here, I'm attacking them this way. I actually kind of like it because if they have to attack me this way, they're gonna want to stop my third. If I have the Zelnaga tower, I can protect my second, and the only thing I need to worry about is drops this way or whatever, or counterattacks this way, and I can constrict this space somehow with buildings, I suppose. If I have my third here, attacking them to natural. Yeah, I don't like this kind of going around the corner and then here and attacking inline at an angle. You see, if I'm attacking their natural, I'm coming around an angle, it's going to be hard for me to get a concave. If I'm coming up this way, and I go up this way, look how much easier. I'm walking my units up here, imagine Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries, into a concave. Here, I had to force myself to get a concave. So I like having my third at the blue here if I'm cross map, just because of the attack paths. Again, I don't want to have to get a nice concave on units by forcing it. Because if I have all my units here, I have to go here and then they'll walk down here. It's going to be so. Meanwhile, I'm already getting shot. If I walk up into it, they're up here. I can just form a beautiful concave much easier with my Stalkers, Colossi, whatever I have. Coolio, coolio, coolio. So my third is going to be, so gold if third is adjacent, but blue, so here or here. No. Not here, because then again there's this concave. But blue, farthest away, blue across from their natural. That's it. Across from their natural. Across from their natural. Okay, yeah. So if I spawn here and they're here, here's the blue across from their natural. There's going to be my third because again, there's a beautiful concave. Oh, so sexy. So sexy. Again, it's hard to have 7 maps, in your fucking arsenal. It's so hard because I haven't played this. I'm not a professional. If I was a professional, it'd be easier, but I'm really not. So it's so hard. So hard. I think this is probably a good place to stop today's Pylonathon, because it's very gonna be more of the same kind of work. So, but I'd like to do this together. We're in this together, so I'm gonna stop it here and come back at a later time in my next Pylonathon, and we're gonna just try and finish it up. We're gonna be very focused because we know exactly what we're doing, and so this is kind of a two-parter, analyzing maps. The next one will be thinking of strategies on me. So we're going to spend basically 3 Pylonathons on maps, analyzing every map that I can possibly play on, and then coming up with strategies for each map and each race. Actually, it might be 4 or 5 Pylonathons. And, let's think, we're doing this together, so... But then once I do that, I won't have to do this again for a long time, and I can just go right into playing and, losing a fucking shit ton of games, but at least I'll have a strategy that I'm trying to execute, and I'll get better and better. So, yes, that was it. I humbly thank you for joining me on Pylonathon, and we're gonna continue this the next one. So there you go. We're gonna continue, and it's gonna be good. So we have 4.5 maps to go, and then we'll go from there. So thank you so much. Little burp there. I shall see you later. Haha. Oh, and go play The Legends of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It is an awesome game. Legends of Zelda, baby. Down. 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 Ba-dum. Ba-da-dum. 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 Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Bob! Oh, gotta be careful not to rip this. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm going now. Have a good day. Bob.